we don't communicate with everybody in the same way. We should, but we don't. For example, because you can't. The way that life is designed, you can't. You can't communicate to the secretary the same way you communicate to the business partner. Not in exactly the same way. But we should. But we can't.
Yeah.
We should always be ourselves, but that level of trust and vulnerability is difficult in business. You see that with the tax office, right? The tax office is full of robots. It's not full of people. It's full of robots. People with in their job little or no emotional availability.
Yeah.
And that's not a healthy environment it's not a healthy place to be sort of psychologically. So people just turn off. They perform their functions, they turn off their brain, and they turn it back on again when they get home. It's like the it's like the uniform principle. Like you give someone a special clothes, a special uniform, and they put it on, and they become somebody different. This has been tested psychologically. Yeah, it's like when you put on the Costa Coffee shirt, you become a Costa Coffee employee. When you put on the Ferrari logo shirt, you become an employee of Ferrari. When the doctor puts on the white coat, becomes the doctor. Or the person puts on the white coat, they become the doctor. And we then perform these kinds of roles within society, and it's all designed basically to make things better. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't as well. As I said before, that the business is the new religion, because the reason why business exists is to make everything better for everybody everywhere. It's to improve the quality of everything, all areas of life. But it doesn't always work that way, because people don't always understand that. And some can, and some can't. They just don't have the ability. Like some people will get better, but some people won't.
Yeah.
Like some people will improve and develop their skills. Some people will level up to the next level. Like I was talking this week with one client who works for Kimberly-Clark, international paper-based organization, but they have lots of products. And they were talking about a new manager that they have. And the manager was originally their best salesperson. And they got a new job in the company because they were the best salesperson. They got a job to manage the sales in certain areas. But being a salesperson is different from being a manager.
Absolutely.
It requires a different set of skills. You should not forget your original skills or ignore them, but you need, with the new job at the new level, you need to change yourself. You need to level up. You need to get to the next level. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of communicating. It's a different type of understanding. It's being less pushy and more persuasive. Less aggressive and more subtle. It requires a different...
More what?
More subtle. Subtle is... it means quiet but effective. So it's a way of communicating which is quiet but effective.
Tender, soft, sweet.
Yeah. It's a soft approach. It's a soft approach, sensitive in that you understand the other people's feelings. It doesn't exist in Slovakia. Yeah, it's a cultural thing. It doesn't exist in Slovakia.
Okay.
It doesn't, because Slovakia is all big and bold, and it requires that alpha male characteristic with all its positive and negative qualities for success. But yeah. So the manager requires a subtle approach, a caring, considerate approach, a thoughtful approach, and their new manager is working as a manager using the techniques of a salesperson, and it doesn't work.
Mm.
It does it doesn't work, and that's just an example of how you have to understand. You have to change to fit into the role that you're
Mm-hmm.
expected. Like a football player, right? Because you got your different positions,
Mm-hmm.
and if you change from being a defender to attacker, you can't play in the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to change your style,
Mm-hmm.
and and so some people are better defenders than some people are great defenders, but you would never play them in attack because they
Mm-hmm.
would never score any goals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Most goalkeepers are bad football players. This
Yeah.
is a fact. This is like I know because when I was a kid I used to be a goalkeeper, and most of the goalkeepers couldn't actually play football very well because to be a goalkeeper requires a different set of skills from to be a footballer. To be a footballer requires great skills with your feet, but to be a goalkeeper requires great skills with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
This is very different.
Very. Yeah.
Very, very different. So um, this comes with different positions in organizations and companies. So when a company is giving somebody new a new position or a new job, it's very, very important to explain that the skills that got you where you are today are not enough.
Again.
The
Yes.
skills that got you here
Mm-hmm.
are not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because the skills you need at the next level are different. It's a higher level of skills. It's a higher set of skills. Now, maybe you will evolve, grow, develop this naturally. Maybe you need to work on it a lot. Maybe it's a lot of hard work. Maybe you can do it, maybe you can't do it, but the job position requires a different set of skills. It's very important to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Different dynamic of communication. Um, so, and you find people in organizations who understand this, and these are usually the people who go very quickly through the levels of the organization because
Mm-hmm.
they very quickly understand, I need to do something different in this position from that position. And these are the people that grow through the ranks and the levels of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they start in Costa Coffee as a waiter or a waitress, but they realize that in each new position they get, they're required to act differently,
Mm-hmm.
and they can evolve with the process. And not everyone can do that. It's it's very difficult because you nobody really has a crystal ball, right? Nobody has
Mm-hmm.
a crystal. You can't really see 10, 15 years down the line how everything is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a crystal ball, the stock market would be easy, right?
Yeah.
But the stock market is not easy. Beyond 3 or 4 days in the future, a lot of things are very variable.
Yeah.
Uh, and and so this is one of the this is why again companies want robots more than they want people because they know exactly what they will get from the robot. Yeah, but they don't know if the person will be able to level up their skills. Everyone's got that. Everyone in business has got that experience of the employee who's great at the start, but after 2 years or 3 years, it's not working anymore.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, maybe the company changes, maybe the person changes, maybe the person's personal life changes, maybe they have some internal problem, maybe some external problem. Maybe they have problems with their colleagues. Um, the 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 working environment is a constant potential for problem. And here's a theory for you, right?
Mhm.
The best thing that anyone can learn in school
Mhm.
is how to manage your own feelings for people that you don't like.
Mhm.
That's the best thing anyone can learn because you have to spend 8 hours a day or 6 to 8 hours a day with the same group of people for a year.
Mhm.
You are not going to like all of these people. You're not going to like them. I mean, you might like 4 or 5 of them, but and then there'll be some that you don't feel anything about, and there'll be some people that you hate. And the
Mhm.
best thing that you can learn at school is how to manage your own feelings when you have to spend time with people that you don't like.
Mhm.
Because when you go out into the working world,
Mhm.
you're going to have to work with groups of people, some of whom you like and some of whom you don't like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
And so I think that is one of the greatest skills that
Mhm.
and it's never nobody focuses on it, nobody thinks about it, nobody points it out, but uh, it's something that's not planned, but you can develop this skill when you understand that I will have to spend most of my life with a lot of people that maybe I don't get along with very
Mm.
well,
Okay,
or
and
maybe
it's homeschool good about it?
uh, that's a great point. No, I mean the obvious answer is no,
Mm.
because you are not forced to spend time with people you don't like. But the other side of that is if you're not forced to spend time with people you don't like, then you can spend all your time with people that you like.
Mhm.
So there's no negative there.
Mhm.
See,
Yeah.
school is making the best of a bad situation.
Yeah.
But homeschool is making the choice to make the best of the best situation.
Exactly.
And so theoretically within the homeschool environment, you can go further, you can go faster, and you can do more.
Yes, maybe not prepared to bad people.
Um, yes, or prepared to eliminate bad people because you don't have to spend time with them. And if you don't have to spend time with bad people when you're young, why should you spend time with bad people when you're an adult? And if you're not spending time with bad people, then you're spending time with people you like. And if you're spending time with people you like, then you're happy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because if you live your life with the belief that you have to spend time with people you don't
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you will
Homeschool
automatically.
is absolutely stress free. Absolutely. It's nice life. Very nice life.
Well, it avoids force. Stress is created by force,
Yeah.
forces, pressure.
Yeah.
And the idea with the homeschool is that you take take the pressure away
Mhm.
and you allow the children to evolve, grow, develop with a lot of their own ideas. And it doesn't it doesn't mean not working on things, and it doesn't mean that you do everything at home.
Mhm.
What it means is that you don't limit your choices.
Mm-hmm.
It's the example I said earlier about you, when you are free to read whatever you want, you read more than when you're forced to read. When you're free to read whatever you want, you read more than than when you're forced to read. And you get more enjoyment from it. Because you read the style and type of books that you like. Now, the argument on the other side is you might not meet something which is very important, but the positive argument is you have contact with much more.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if my son went to school, he would be expected to read one book every month. He is not expected to read one book every month. So at the moment, he reads one book every 3 or 4 days, which is
It's great.
which is way more productive, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and meeting much more language um, than than he would meet otherwise. Also, school is a lot of busy work. Busy work is work that keeps you busy but doesn't improve the quality of your life. So any work that you do should have some effect on quality. It's like if you have an employee in a company.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want your employee just to be busy. You want them to be doing something productive, something that benefits the company in a positive way. And school gives us a lot of busy work. The results are not really relevant to anything else except the results. The results of why are the results of the last test important? The results of the last test are important because the last test is compared to the next test, which is compared to the next test, which is compared to the next test.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the context of tests, doesn't really matter very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The positive side of that is the only person that you should compare yourself to is you. That's true. But the negative side of that is when you get out into the real world, you have to compare yourself with external things because the world is external.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the classic example is with companies, each company has to improve. It has to be better if it wants to survive. But if your better is not as good as everybody else's best,
Mm-hmm.
then you will not survive. So being only better this year than you were last year is not good enough if everybody else is much better.
Yeah.
So within that company context, you have to compare yourself to other companies. You have to look at and you have to see what share of the market they have. You have to look at some of what it is that they're doing. You have to look at what works for them, what doesn't work, what's successful, what's not. And all of this comes back to understanding schools and the positive and negative elements that exist there. I'm not against schools. I'm sort of more against forcing people to do things that they don't like. I don't see I don't see I don't see the benefit in that with children.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you learn more from exploring the things that are interesting to you. If you're never allowed to explore what interests you, I don't think you can be happy. I mean, imagine there's things that interest you, but you have zero time for them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be very happy.
Yeah.
You have to make some time for the things that interest you. And to be honest, school doesn't care much about the interests of the students. Oh, you're interested in that? Well, you have to do that outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
school is not important for my interests. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, and most people are successful at things that they like doing. Right? I mean, it's just look at look at almost every successful sports person didn't learn their sport in school.
Mm-hmm.
They had sports classes in school, but they didn't learn their skills there. They learned all the skills outside of school,
Mm-hmm.
in their own time, in their free time. And the people who do crazy successful things like, I don't know, motor racing or horse riding or
Yeah.
sailing or
Cycling, maybe.
cycling. Yeah, yeah, cycling. Say they don't get any of those skills in school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even people who love biology, if you love biology and you have biology classes in school, what do you have? 2 periods of 45 minutes a week? That's not enough. If you're really interested in a topic, 2 periods of 45 minutes a week is not enough to develop any great skill in that area. So you have to do it in your own time. And school consumes time. And the negative side of that is people say that it steals childhood
Mm-hmm.
because it fills children's time with things that they don't enjoy, with things that they don't like. And and that is my experience. Um, there are there are good schools. They're hard to find, and schools change as the teachers change, and as the directors change. The schools change.
Mm-hmm.
Not every company is always a great company. It goes up and down, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With the people and the ideas and the leaders. Um, the bad company can become a good company can become a bad company.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.